This is Land Havilah, Luke 9c. Twice recently, Jesus told the disciples he must die. He told them when he was alone with them in verse 22, and again when he was descending the Mount of Transfiguration with Peter, James, and John. But it didn't sink in that he must die, Mark 9:10. Now again he'll tell them what's coming. Picking up middle of verse 43. But while all were marveling at all the things which Jesus did, he said to his disciples, "Let these words sink into your ears, for the Son of Man will be delivered up into the hands of men." But they didn't understand this saying. It was concealed from them that they should not perceive it, and they were afraid to ask him about this saying. Comment: God the Father concealed it from them that they shouldn't perceive it, that Jesus was about to be killed, and they were afraid to ask him about it. Your narrator had a similar experience in his youth. For a long time he had his eye on a certain young woman and got to know her, but kept his distance from her, and she from him. Then one day he prayed all day to God that he would give her to him. Then a strange thing happened. He completely forgot what he had prayed, or that he had even prayed at all. The day of prayer didn't come back to his mind whatsoever for a while. Then within a week, during which time the prayer never crossed his mind, and the young woman had hardly crossed his mind, he and the young woman spoke for the first time one evening, and the next day were engaged. It was only after the engagement that your narrator remembered how he had spent the day about a week before. During that week of amnesia, God was arranging the engagement sovereignly without any input or effort from your narrator. Then, soon after the engagement, your narrator remembered the day of prayer and knew that God was the one who had arranged the engagement. He knew that the young woman was meant to be his, that it was all in God's planning. So now Jesus is plainly telling his disciples what's going to happen, but it's not registering. Quote, "It was concealed from them that they should not perceive it." End quote. The crucifixion seemed at first to be a defeat for Jesus, so naturally when it happened, the disciples were dejected about it. But then when he rose from the dead, an angel appeared to the disciples and told them, quote, "Remember what he told you when he was still in Galilee, saying that the Son of Man must be delivered up into the hands of sinful men and be crucified, and the third day rise again?" End quote. It was only then that, quote, they remembered his words, Luke 24:6-8. For whatever reason, God wanted the disciples to be in the dark during the crucifixion. But later they remembered Jesus' multiple predictions of it, including, quote, "Behold, we're going up to Jerusalem, and all the things that are written through the prophets concerning the Son of Man will be completed. For he will be delivered up to the Gentiles, will be mocked, treated shamefully, and spit on. They'll scourge him and kill him. On the third day he'll rise from the dead." Luke 18:31-32. It just didn't register with them until it was all over. Quote, "They understood none of these things. This saying was hidden from them." Luke 18:33. When they remembered, it was testimony to them that the crucifixion was no defeat and no mistake. It was a cause for glory and wonder to realize that it was the plan of God the whole time. Proverbs 25:2, quote, "It's the glory of God to conceal a thing." Verse 46. There arose an argument among them about which of them was the greatest. Jesus, perceiving the reasoning of their hearts, took a little child and set him by his side, and said to them, "Whoever receives this little child in my name receives me. Whoever receives me receives him who sent me. For whoever is least among you, this one will be great." Comment: In this world we have people who seem to be the least significant of any on the planet. But it's a temporary situation because the planet is temporary. God will destroy the present world and establish a new one in righteousness. Luke 18:30 and 2 Peter 3:12. When he makes things right, quote, "Whoever is least among you all, this one will be great," end quote. And, quote, "Every valley will be exalted and every mountain and hill made low." Isaiah 40, verse 4. And, quote, "Many will be last who are first, and first who are last." Matthew 19:30. So we should be humble, lest in our pride things turn out badly for us. Verse 49. John answered, "Master, we saw someone casting out demons in your name, and we forbade them because he doesn't follow with us." Jesus said to him, "Don't forbid him, for he who is not against us is for us." Comment, some random person was casting out demons in Jesus' name. Jesus didn't specifically appoint him, but Jesus said, fine, he who's not against us is for us. Verse 51. It came to pass, when the days were near that he should be taken up, he intently set his face to go to Jerusalem, and sent messengers before his face. They went and entered into a village of the Samaritans so as to prepare for him. They didn't receive him because he was traveling with his face set towards Jerusalem. Comment, there was a bitter controversy between the Jews and Samaritans. Jews said Jerusalem was the place to worship, which was according to the law of Moses, and Samaritans worshipped locally, Deuteronomy 12:5-14 and John 4:20. The controversy was so bitter the Samaritans wouldn't lodge any Jews traveling to Jerusalem, including Jesus and his entourage. Verse 54. When his disciples, James and John, saw this, they said, Lord, do you want us to command fire to come down from the sky and destroy them, just as Elijah did? Comment, twice a group of 50 Samaritan soldiers came to arrest Elijah, and he called down fire on them, 2 Kings 1:10-14. James and John are all for it. Verse 55. But he turned and rebuked them. You don't know of what kind of spirit you are, for the Son of Man didn't come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. They went to another village. Comment, they ended up bypassing the unreceptive village. Their loss. Verse 57. As they went on the way, a certain man said to him, I want to follow you wherever you go, Lord. Comment, the days are near for Jesus to be taken up, and he's intently set his face toward Jerusalem, as it said 6 verses ago. As he's already on his way, in Samaria, a man said, I want to go, almost certainly not knowing what he's asking. Verse 58. Jesus said to him, the foxes have holes and the birds of the sky have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. Comment, Jesus didn't say you can't follow, he only said it won't be easy. Apparently the man chose not to follow because it wouldn't be easy. He missed out on participating in the lowest point of Jesus' ministry and the highest. Verse 59. He said to another, follow me. Comment, now we have the opposite. Instead of someone inviting himself, Jesus is inviting someone. Follow me, he says, still in verse 59. But he said, Lord, allow me first to go and bury my father. But Jesus said to him, leave the dead to bury their own dead, but you go and announce God's kingdom. Comment, Jesus specifically told the man, follow me, same as he told Peter, James, and John. But the man said, no, I've got things to do. In fact, he had one of the greatest excuses ever, I have to bury my father. But how did that obligation stack up against the opportunity of following Jesus? We have to realize that following Jesus is an unparalleled opportunity, and whatever business we think we have, we should drop it, if necessary, to follow him. There's nothing else so important or so pressing as following Jesus now. Jesus wasn't going to delay his agenda of going to Jerusalem to accommodate the man's agenda. Jesus' agenda of the cross was the biggest agenda of history, and whatever business Jesus has for us right now is the biggest agenda possible for us. Verse 61. Another also said, I want to follow you, Lord, but first allow me to say goodbye to those who are at my house. But Jesus said to him, no one, having put his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for God's kingdom. Comment, Luke 10 is next at landofhavilah.net. Luke 10.